Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Today, we're diving deep into the world of digital radio, a technology that's been evolving over decades, changing the way we access and enjoy radio broadcasts. Today, we'll explore the origins of digital radio technology. We'll also understand how digital radio works. We will identify the differences between traditional radio and digital radio, and we'll also examine the current status and development of digital radio in the Philippines. Let's start with a little history. The idea for digital radio began to take shape in the early 1980s when German engineers at the Institut for Rundfunktechnik in Munich first explored the technology. Known as digital audio broadcasting or DAB, it became a standard in Europe by the 1990s. Soon after, DAB systems were being distributed through both ground-based transmitters and satellites, allowing for broader reach and a clearer sound than analog radio had been able to provide. The digital radio era started in the US when the Federal Communications Commission, or FCC, authorized terrestrial digital radio in 2002. US broadcasters could then transmit both analog and digital signals simultaneously, allowing listeners to use traditional or digital receivers. However, technology had a slow uptake due to the high cost of digital receivers and limited programming. But what exactly is digital radio? ExplainThatStuff.com defines digital radio as a type of radio broadcasting technology that uses digital signals to transmit audio instead of analog signals used by traditional radio. In essence, digital radio transmits audio in the form of numerical patterns or digits rather than using the wave-like signals of analog radio. This digital format makes the signal much more resistant to interference and helps eliminate distortions experienced with analog broadcasts, such as static. As a result, digital radio provides a clearer, more reliable sound quality than analog. But there's more to digital radio than just clearer sound. By converting audio into a digital format, broadcasters can send additional information, such as song titles, artist names, or even weather updates along with the audio, giving listeners a richer experience beyond what's possible with traditional radio. Now let's break down how digital radio works. When a digital station broadcasts, the audio is split into fragments and coded into numbers, then transmitted over a wider range of frequencies than analog radio, about 1,500 times wider to be precise. This broad frequency range is what allows digital radio to avoid interference and carry multiple programs at once. In fact, a single digital signal can carry up to 6 music channels or 20 speech channels. This method of combining multiple channels into a simple signal is known as multiplexing. It allows radio signals to blend, meaning that along with the audio, digital radio can simultaneously transmit text such as song information or even advertisements. Now, if we compare analog and digital radio, whether AM or FM, analog radio works by turning audio into wave-like electrical signals that closely mimic the original sound waves. This approach has limitations though. Analog signals are sensitive to interference from buildings, terrain, and even bad weather, which often results in static or weakened signals. Digital radio, on the other hand, is transmitted as strings of numbers. Now, because it's transmitted in packets of data, the receiver can still assemble a clear signal, even if parts of the signal are delayed or interrupted along the way. The result, a more consistent sound quality that is much less susceptible to interference. One small downside, though, is that digital signals take time to process, creating a slight delay compared to analog signals if you listen to both side by side. Now, there are several types of digital broadcast technology. One is digital audio broadcasting, or DAB. This is widely used in Europe, Australia, and parts of Africa and Asia. DAB is a digital radio format optimized for radio rather than TV. It can carry multiple channels and add services like traffic and weather updates. HD radio, or HDR, is the main digital radio standard in North America and is also now in the Philippines. HD radio provides better sound quality than analog and can display song and artist information. Another type is the digital radio mondial. This is mainly used in areas with limited internet access, since it is designed for low bandwidth environments, making it ideal for developing countries. It can support multiple audio channels and add features like text and images. Now let's talk about digital radio in the Philippine context. While digital radio is still in its early stages here, there's been some movement. Currently, HD radio, a popular digital standard in North America, is also being adopted in the Philippines. This standard offers superior sound quality and extra features like artist names and song titles. At the moment, 5 out of 25 FM stations in Metro Manila started testing HD radio broadcasts. A 6th station was also set up, but it was discontinued after a fire in 2019. Broadcasters see great potential in digital radio for reaching more listeners, especially in rural areas, thanks to its enhanced range and flexibility. However, transitioning to digital radio hasn't been easy. The investment needed in new equipment for digital transmission is significant. Another challenge is a shortage of people skilled in maintaining digital radio equipment. There's also no official government policy yet on digital radio adoption, meaning the shift from analog to digital is still largely voluntary for broadcasters. For now, the Philippine radio industry continues to operate in this mixed environment, balancing both analog and digital formats as they await clearer regulations. For this report, I've listed my references here on this page, and I'll be sharing my questions on the discussion forum board. Thank you for joining me today for this in-depth look at digital radio. I look forward to your insights.